I mean, when I see some people commenting on Twitter, they don't know Wizkid. But the Wizkid I know.
He's the king, bro. You get me? Okay, he's the only one greater than me.
Because after Fela, Wizkid is the greatest Afrobeat artist ever.
Your ambition is to replace Fela in that. That Fela still get mouth past you, they verse you. I am attacking Wizkid fans, and yet Wizkid has done nothing to me. Doesn't that mean he no send you now?
Wizkid a lot, you know. Wizkid is my party now.
Hey yo, what up guys? So in this video we're going to be talking about the situation happening between Wizkid and Seun Kuti, right? And of course we know a lot of things have happened, a lot of opinion, has been spilled out, but I decided to do this video after the trend, a little bit after the trend, because I wanted to analyze all the facts. So in this video I'm going to be talking about how it all started, from the Wiz end. Then also I'm going to be talking about how it started from Seun Kuti's end. A lot of persons just feel a lot of things started the way it did, guys, but there were a lot of deep things to it, which I'm going to be unveiling in this video. Then also we're going to be talking about what Burna Boy had to do with this, then also what Olamide, where Olamide comes in all this stuff, right? So what is the relationship between Wizkid and Fela Kuti, right? So we all know Wizkid when we were growing up, definitely. Wizkid was that young artist, that broke into the entertainment industry. Of course, with the Holla at Your Boy, that was like his single biggest song at that point in time. Even if prior to that he has done some songs, recorded with MI, recorded with a few artists, a few big names at that point in time, but his own personal song was Holla at Your Boy at that point in time. And when Wizkid broke into the scene, everybody was shocked because then we did not have a lot of young artists in the music industry, right? In fact, we did not have any young artists in the music industry doing what Wizkid was doing. So Wizkid was that guy, and he was, probably like one of the first biggest name to do it. So that was Wizkid basically. But the unique thing about Wizkid was his love for Fela, because Wizkid always came out and talked about how he loved Fela, how he idolized Fela, right? So he talked about how Fela was his legend, Fela was his icon. In fact, we saw a lot of interviews at that point in time where Wizkid again and again, talk about the relationship or the love, the kind of like, I don't want to use the word adoration, but how he felt for Fela, right? So there were a lot of interviews where people were asking him, especially early in his career when this comparison started, newborn Fela, this, he in a lot of interviews just turned it down. Like in this particular interview,
we can't compare. Like, let's not use that word because that's like a disrespect when you're like mentioning Wizkid and Fela in the same sentence.
So like you can see, if there was one question a lot of persons have asked in the career of Wizkid, they have asked question of Fela, because fans and audience always want to compare Wizkid, to Fela, Wizkid, newborn Fela, this, that, but he will always come out to say, man, don't put me in that comparison, don't put me in that conversation, right? In fact, in every opportunity Wizkid has, he has always given prompts to Fela.
Yeah, Fela is a big inspiration to my music. He's a very, 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 very like musical person. And he started a whole sound, like his own sound, even when it wasn't making sense, and this music is still there, like for generations to come. Like we're still listening to the music, we're still vibing to the music. Like he's a great guy, and what he stood for as well, and what he used his music to do, because it was passing like some really, really serious messages out there to the people and to the politicians as well, on how they should treat the people. Okay. So like he was he's a very special artist, Fela, Bob Marley. There's like two people that really, really inspired me.
Why this is not a video for Fela, probably I'm just going to work on a separate video for Fela where I will talk about how great Fela was. You understand? Fela was who he said he was. In fact, whoever we think Fela is, that's the guy. You understand? Because Fela was a big name, you understand? Fela broke so many records, which I'm going to be showing you in one of my videos. I'll just do a personal video for Fela, right? So even in Wizkid's recent interview, where he did his Lagos documentary and stuff, right? Wizkid also dedicated a part for Fela. So that is one thing about Wizkid. Any interview, any documentary he does, there's always part for Fela, to talk about. So I cannot post this because of copyright issues, but I can tell you what Wizkid said about Fela in the interview. So he was like, since I was a kid, he was just a big influence to me. Fela had one of the greatest band ever. Listening to that just captivated me in ways I couldn't explain. Then he went on to say, he is a musician that is from where I'm from. So as a kid, he was just a very big influence for me. Then also Wizkid said he was a big instrument to why I believe I could make music today. So you could see that any opportunity Wizkid had, he always gives prompts to Fela. And the truth about it is, when you talk about Fela, right, when you talk about the person of Fela, I don't think I've seen any musician in Nigeria that comes out to disrespect Fela. And we're going to that, right? So of course, because of the way Wizkid adored Fela, right, and respected Fela, idolized Fela, right, you could tell that Wizkid sounded like Fela. So he does a lot of things Fela does, basically. The when Wizkid is performing, he says, if you're feeling me, say yeah, all those kind of vibes, right? This was things Fela does in his time, you understand? So you could see that Wizkid did a lot of stuff Fela did.
Let me hear you say yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody say yeah.
In fact, he even took it to another level where he now started copying Fela's music. Or let's say he started sampling Fela's music, right? So in this particular video, you watch Wizkid and Fela, you could see the similarity in most of Wizkid's song to Fela's song.
Why do these songs sound similar? Wizkid and Fela.
If you call a woman African woman, no go green.
African woman.
Wizkid, Fela.
Zombie, oh zombie, yeah.
Zombie, oh zombie. Zombie, oh zombie.
Wizkid and Fela.
No break, no job.
Wonder, oh my sexy wonder.
Wonder. Wonderful romantic.
Wizkid and Fela.
I don't turn my shit to expensive shit.
So you could see right now that when Wizkid was called the newborn Fela, he actually did a lot of things that looks like Fela, and this guy took Fela. In fact, he had Fela's image in his hand at that point in time. His Snapchat name, in fact, was Fela Back. You understand? So talking about love for somebody, Wizkid actually took it to another level, right? One thing was that Wizkid had a very great relationship with the Fela family. He always says positive things about the Fela family, and also the Fela family says positive things about him. In fact, in one of Wizkid's interview, or let's say documentary, when he was to release, I think it was in Made in Lagos, you understand. Kuti said a lot of things about Wizkid, how Wizkid always shows up for Felaboration free of charge. As long as it's in the country, he will always come for Felaboration.
Concerning Celebration as well, I mean, he supports Celebration with his heart, everything. I mean, he doesn't even charge us money. I mean, Wizkid is like family. So, I mean, except he's not in the country, he will honor Celebration. Just a phone call, he will come no matter what. He's a very nice person. I mean, when I see some people commenting on Twitter, they don't know Wizkid. But the Wizkid I know is very humble.
I love Wizkid a lot. Wizkid is my party now. When two giants fight, it's the grass that suffers. I refuse to enter this some of the insults that they are hurling, because I love Wizkid a lot. Wizkid is my party now. He's my small friend. We've come a long way together. I remember when he started at Shrine. He was a backup singer at the Shrine during Celebration. So there is no way I can ever not like Wizkid. I like him. So
he actually said a lot of good things about Wizkid, and in fact, Wizkid, when you talk about Fela's family, Wizkid was even good with Seun Kuti, because there was actually a video where Seun Kuti talked about Wizkid and talked about the fact that Wizkid even liked his posts. You understand, when he posted his song, when he released a song, Wizkid liked his post and stuff. So there was no problem between Wizkid and the Fela family.
Wizkid is my guy. See, Wizkid is one of the guys that I respect the most. Davido, Bonner, no, let me not say respect. Respect is big. Let me say I admire them. You know, and they are good guys. You know, it takes a lot for me to, you know, they have not become revolutionary yet. That's why I don't respect them, but I admire them a lot. You know, and I'm sure they don't respect me too because I don't have money more than them. Because this is they say it a lot that now who get money, now who they respect. You know, this is they admire me. I'm sure they have a lot of admiration for me. I admire a lot of the things they do on their posts. I go and like it. Some days ago, Wizkid liked my song I posted. That's the kind of good admiration and healthy.
So aside from Wizkid, there were a lot of artists. Like I told you before, there was no Nigerian artist that had come out to disrespect Fela. You understand? No Nigerian artist. In fact, what you hear from Nigerian artists was the love and adoration. I don't know if I'm taking it too far if I use the word adoration, but a lot of artists in Nigeria saw Fela as an idol. You understand? Fela was here, Fela was here, the artists, they were here. You understand? So they always idolized Fela. You could hear from Burna Boy. In fact, in different cases, Burna Boy had come out to talk about Fela, talk about how he likes Fela, how Fela is the greatest, you know. He actually said in an interview he's the greatest artist after Fela.
He's the king, bro. You get me? Okay, he's the only one greater than me. Pastor's dress, now in the clean pass.
He's spitting that real shit. I don't know what he's saying.
Might be the hard for my people for them to buy soap.
Oh shit, man.
Pastor Naim then give respect pass. And then they do bad things. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
I'm fucking that bitch. Yeah. I'm fucking that bitch.
Kill people.
So Burna Boy is another artist that talks about Fela with every opportunity he has, right? He talks about Fela over and over again. Then you could see that Burna Boy even also samples Fela's song. So this is not a new thing. A lot of Nigerian artists does that. Then we also have Bella Shmurda, right? Bella Shmurda is somebody that has even named his song Newborn Fela, right? He has named his song Newborn Fela, where in the lyrics he was saying I'm the newborn Fela and storyteller, whatever, right? So you could see that in interviews upon interviews, a lot of artists, musical artists, have prompted, has given kudos to Fela a lot. They have paid tribute to Fela a lot. We also have the likes of Falz. In fact, Falz is one very vocal figure, you understand, that talks about how he adores Fela. And there is talking about the person of Fela. There are two sides of Fela, right? You understand? There is the musician side. There is the activist side. There are other sides, but those are like the two main sides. Fela is very smart. He's well schooled and stuff like that. So we don't want to even bring that. Let's just talk about the musician side and the activist side, right? So that's why you cannot box Fela. You understand? Looking at Fela, you cannot just box Fela as just a musician, because this guy was highly impactful. You understand? So there was a musician, there was the activist. And talking of one artist that has really gone that route with Fela is Falz, because Falz, he does this activism a lot. He speaks out a lot, Then talking about music, he took it to the next level, sampling Fela's song. So he sampled a whole album, Fela's song on his whole album, Moral Instruction, at that point in time, and it was crazy. The truth is, if you have not listened to that album, you must go and listen to it, because he did a lot of great stuff with Fela's sound in that album. So we've had a lot of artists, right? I can't even name more. We've had the likes of Adekunle Gold, we've had the likes of Asha, we've had the likes of Olamide, had the likes of Davido, had the likes of Vector the Viper. Had the likes of all these guys, coming out to speak for Fela, coming out to talk about Fela, to give prompts, to pay tributes to Fela of how great he was as an artist. You understand? Then we even have somebody I'm going to name here, an unlikely figure, if I'm saying that right. which is Very Dark Man. Very Dark Man is somebody that they have compared to Fela, not because he can sing, of course, he can't sing. I'm talking about the activism aspect. This is why, of course, Fela is great. And like I was telling you guys, I will have to do a video on Fela like this, telling you the greatness of Fela, right? I'll have to do a specific video like this. So Very Dark Man has been compared with Fela. So this was one tweet Very Dark Man made in the past, and this was what he said. So Very Dark Man was like, if Fela go prison for talking truth, why I not going to be like my role model now? So you could see that was what Very Dark Man said at some point in time. And this person that posted, he said, I'm not scared of jail, said by VDM. Very Dark Man is Fela of our time. So you could see comparison has been flying here and there, you know, not just for Wiz. You know, Fela comparison, they compare him to Very Dark Man as an activist, they compare him to Falz as an activist and as an artist, compare him to this person, compare him to that person. So comparison for somebody like Fela is not something that is new. It has always been. In fact, still talking about this comparison, let's actually talk about comparison. What is comparison? So to me, in my opinion, when you compare a legend, you understand, it just shows how great the legend was. Whether you are saying he's as great as the legend or he's evil, you know, greater than the legend, it just shows that this person is actually a legend. It shows how great the legend was. And although I'm not speaking about Seun Kuti now, we'll talk about his own part later in this video, but let's drop this particular video here where he was saying that he doesn't like the fact that they compare Fela, you know, to Wizkid. That in other countries, these comparisons are not made with their legend.
I can sit here and confidently say Wizkid is the greatest artist in the world. I can say Wizkid is the greatest artist of all time. It carries weight. Why must you add more than Fela? Every day, these clowns keep on doing this thing all the time. They do it. And I would understand if we were the kind of family that we come out, laud our father's greatness over everybody. Oh, Fela is greater than this one, and we do it to them. No, we don't. Yeah. We are very humble. We don't even cross our lane, but they always find a way. Yeah. There's always a reason. Just drag this man down. Drag this man's name. Go to Jamaica. Maybe Jamaicans are human beings too. And they've created plenty huge stars in Jamaica after Bob Marley. You will not hear anybody say that they are the new Bob Marley. One. Yeah. And you'll never hear anybody comparing any artist in Jamaica today to Bob Marley. Okay. Go to South Africa. You will not see them doing it to Hugh Masekela, Yvonne Shaka Shaka. Go to America. They don't do it to James Brown. They don't do it to Aretha Franklin. But just come to these Nigerians and Fela Sha. Only we, our father cannot rest. Yeah. Kilashi. Okay. If you want Wizkid to be great, he's the greatest. I agree with you. Leave my father's name out of the conversation.
But I don't think that is true, you understand, because we have seen comparison. Like me, I'm a football fan right now, and I'm a Messi fan. There's a Ronaldo fan, but I'm a Messi fan, right? And one thing we know as football fans right now is we compare a lot, you understand? We compare Messi. In fact, we want to say Messi is the greatest of all time right now. Messi is greater than Pele, greater than Maradona. And the funny thing about it is, when those people that watch Maradona in their time hear our talk of Messi is greater than this person or Messi is greater than that person, probably, you know, they will just laugh because they just feel that, okay, these guys don't know what they are saying, you understand? Probably because they did not watch Maradona, or probably because they did not watch Pele. That's why they are saying Messi or Ronaldo is greater than these guys. And nobody makes a big deal about it, in fact. We have had comparisons upon comparisons. People compare Bob Marley. In fact, people have gone to compare Chris Brown. People compare Chris Brown to Michael Jackson. Chris Brown to Michael Jackson, right? And at first, when I was seeing this comparison of Chris Brown to Michael Jackson, it sounded crazy to me, you understand? Because how do you go comparing Chris Brown to Michael Jackson? And so this is not a Michael Jackson video, so I don't want to talk too much about Michael Jackson, but we know, of course, how crazy it is. In fact, Chris Brown knows how crazy it is. That's why, you know, when he was asked in an interview, series of interviews, when he has been asked about the comparison between himself and Michael Jackson, this was what he had to say.
I'm glad you said that.
That is cap.
And the reason why
I mean, I stayed the hell up out of it. I don't keep it 100. Like, I kind of back off it. Like,
my personal take on it is like I wouldn't even be breathing or even being able to sing a song if that man didn't exist.
Right.
So I don't know if they look at it as the Jordan Kobe thing, but I can't even look at it. He's light years away. Like you get what I'm saying? Like there is no competing with him.
Yeah, how would we compare to Michael Jackson? Hold on, Jarvis, damn you glazing, get out of here, bro. but yeah, how does it be to that? I don't know. My favorite artist is Michael Jackson.
Yeah, facts, mine too. I think to me, I don't really like take the comparisons for real. Like I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, but I'm more like I respect it if somebody says it, but it's more like I don't know how to take the compliment. I'll just be like, I'm just me. I'm just gonna be the best me.
So you can see right now that comparison is everywhere. It's not just a Nigeria thing, right? It's everywhere. You understand? When you talk about fans comparing this person to this person, comparison is everywhere. Now let's even talk about fans. Who are these fans? Wizkid FC comparing Fela to Wizkid, or comparing Wizkid to Fela. Now, I want to ask you one question. If you are to point, if 10 persons are to stand here, in fact, if Wizkid is to be standing in front of 10 persons, and Wizkid is told point Wizkid FC in this among these persons, do you think Wizkid is going to know who is Wizkid FC and not? Of course, the answer is no. Why? Because there is no legal or there is no badge saying that I am Wizkid FC. There's nothing like that. Or if I'm not mistaken, there is no WhatsApp group or Telegram group named Wizkid FC where these guys just sit down to control the narrative of okay, we want to diminish Fela's name today, right? Or we want to destroy Fela's name today. There's nothing like that. You understand? It's just a bunch of people. Wizkid himself doesn't know his fans. Davido doesn't know his fans. Burna Boy doesn't know his fans. You understand? So a lot of persons can just come out and say a lot of stuffs. Overzealous fans, of course. Everybody has that kind of fan. Except me. Are you my fan? You can tell me in the comment section. Anyway, every celebrity or every creator have overzealous fans that wants to take it to the extreme. Comparison, this, that, stanship and stuff. We could even tell Very Dark Man has a good fan base in this country, which is the Rattle. You understand? And we have Rattles that take it to the extreme also. So we have overzealous fan on every fan base. You understand? So is it the right thing to judge somebody by what his fan does, right? We're coming to that actually. So talking about this fanship and talking about this talk of comparison, it went to another level when Olamide, was asked. We all know Olamide and Wiz are good friends. And talking about good friends, Wiz is very picky in the entertainment industry. You could point a few persons that are actually his friends in the entertainment industry, and I'm pointing those few persons. Olamide should stand out as probably the number one. Olamide, DJ Tunes and stuff. Those are like Wizkid's close men, you understand? So Olamide was speaking, and Olamide gave, Olamide is really respected in the country. So Olamide gave his own 2 cents and was like, Wizkid is the greatest after Fela.
How's it, by the way, working with Wizkid? You have so many songs, and you have 2 songs on your current album with him. How's it like working with Wiz?
He knows after Fela, Wizkid is the greatest Afrobeat artist ever.
Take that word or pay attention to that word, after Fela. So you can see what Olamide said right now. Greatest after Fela. You understand? But when Olamide made this particular statement, he just made a lot of fans, like I call them overzealous fans, they just decided to take it to another level, right? And the comparison went from, Wizkid is as good as Fela, or Wizkid is good, to even probably a lot of persons saying Wizkid better than Fela. Just fan thing, you know how it is. But one person that did not like how that was going, you understand, was Seun Kuti, because Seun Kuti saw that this was like an insult to the Fela's name. You understand? How would they come and say Wizkid is as good as Fela? In fact, that was his own push at that point in time. The first time he was like, I don't want you all to compare Wiz with my dad, you understand? Or just don't mention the name Wiz and Fela, you understand? You can say Wizkid is great. Wiz is great on his own. Fela is who he is. Wiz is who he is. But don't put the name together, you understand? So that was actually his argument, right? But he did not stop there, you understand? He did interview upon interview, did videos upon videos until he decided that he was going to take a strike. And I don't know if I will call this a strike or a marathon, but of course, he had a 7 days marathon dedicated to Wizkid FC, or let's call them Wizkid. You understand? I remember that before then, like the video I showed you guys before, he had no issues with Wizkid. Wizkid had no issues with him. But at this moment in time, he decided that since Wizkid's fans, they were not stopping the comparison. And there's one thing about pushback. So let me explain this to you. Immediately you tell this person, don't look back. That is exactly when the person will be eager to look back. And that was what happened when Seun Kuti came out, to talk about the comparison with Wiz and his dad. You understand? When he came out and started talking about fans, or talking to fans that they should not compare Wiz to his dad and stuff like that, that was when the comparison got worse, FC, they decided to make a point out of that they must compare Wiz, to his dad. In fact, this time they took it to another level of saying Wizkid is better than Fela. Mind you, at this point, Wizkid hadn't said anything about that. So Seun Kuti did his marathon, and while he was doing his marathon, in fact, his sister also joined him in the marathon. In fact, his sister took it to the next level, insulting Wizkid's father and insulting Wizkid's mother in this video.
So why are Wizkid FC attacking our father's names? Our father's name. Why are the Wizkid, with the fact that Wizkid is somebody that I like his music, although he's not a musician because he doesn't know how to play any instrument. He just sings. I like his songs, and all that. Then in fan base, go they use my own papa Fela name, they do toothpick, they talk to Fela name anyhow. Why Wizkid FC no go talk about Muniru Balogun Olatunji, Wizkid father, we born Wizkid, we abandon him mama with Wizkid, we make Wizkid struggle and hustle for Oju Elegba Shita before he can become who he become today? Why Wizkid FC no go they attack Wizkid papa, we abandon her with him mama? Why na Fela we una no know before? Na just the name una hear, una no know the man, una no know anything about us. Una go just open una mouth. Wow, na go they talk nonsense, they talk rubbish, they talk like senseless nitwits. See, be like say Ogun won't kill una mama, una papa. Ogun won't kill una mama and una papa. You guys should get our names, our father's names, out of your stinking gullible brains. So Wizkid cannot tolerate people talking to his nobody of a father. Abi, he cannot. He dey pain am say they insult him, papa. He dey pain am, really. But in OFC, they downgrade our own papa. We born us, where we grow our own father. And una say make we shut up, and now they come, they run insult. They talk to, I beg, shut up, I not go play you for my car again. Shut up, see, na Muniru or Natunji, na a nobody, na a Wizkid pass, big pass. Wizkid big pass Muniru or Natunji. Not be Fela.
When I saw this video, I was just weak because there was no reason it had gotten to this in the first place. You understand? There was no business with Wizkid with what these guys, FCs, were doing at that point in time. And they are just fans, so I thought. But they were taking it to the next level where they started insulting Wizkid and stuff.
You are a ghost fan base. That's why you have not been to stadium in a while. If you are not a ghost fan base, you will be in stadium. 30 BG are in stadium. Outsiders are in stadium. Wizkid FC, no stadium. That's why. A ghost fan base. Ghost fan base. The Ghost FC. That's it. Ghost FC. Let me change. Ghost FC. So you are a bad person. I'm a bad person. Ghost FC. We cannot fill a stadium with ghosts.
And Seun Kuti took it upon himself. Day 1, day 2, day 3.
I am attacking Wizkid fans, and yet Wizkid has done nothing to me. Doesn't that mean he no send una? If I'm attacking all his fans, then you know go better for everybody than Wizkid FC. And Wizkid has said nothing, and he has done nothing to me. That means he doesn't send you. Koroi, he no send una. Not be said that me he no send. Now una he no send. If you do something to anybody I care about, or anything I care about, I will come for you full force. I will fuck you up. I guarantee. It's a promise. It is a promise. It not be say if you do anything or you harm, like the way una do video for my papa. Una do video for my papa. I'm here for all of you immediately. I am yabbing, insulting, cursing out all una ancestors as Wizkid fans. Wizkid has said nothing or done nothing to protect you. What does that mean? What does that mean, bro?
Day 4 and day 5, he kept on going, till Wizkid got fed up with the whole thing, and Wizkid decided to drop a statement. So when Wizkid dropped the statement, that was when everything changed, because the industry went crazy. And this is not the first time Wizkid is coming with a bomb like this, When Wizkid speaks, very quiet guy, but when he talks, problem. You don't want Wizkid speaking, actually. Wizkid just be quiet. So when he spoke, everything went crazy, because he said stuff like, P-boy at big bed Kuti, okay, I big pass your papa, waiting you won't do, full at 40. At big bed, I'm big Wiz, every day bigger than your papa, waiting you won't do, full. Then Wizkid also went on and on this on Twitter, and he was like, fella fight for freedom, this fool they fight FC, Oloshi or Moale. Then he went on to say, okay, everybody better pass Wizkid, can we sleep now? So that was all Wizkid said, and that was where the internet divided into 3 parts. So what are the 3 parts? We had the part that was standing for Wiz, we had the part that was standing for Seun Kuti, and we had the part that was in the middle. So let's start with the part that was in the middle in the first place. Those guys that were in the middle were like, Wiz shouldn't have said anything about fella, should just have come for Seun Kuti. But they were also saying that Seun Kuti just unprovoked came for Wizkid, without Wizkid even doing anything to him and stuff. So those were the middle ganger, right? The people that were for Seun Kuti was like, Wizkid, how dare Wizkid talk about fella in that manner? So the people that was for Wizkid was like, Wizkid did nothing wrong, Seun Kuti asked for it, and that was what he got. Me, what did I have to say? Even though I felt Wizkid went too far, what he said actually was blue, or do I say blue? Is that the right English? It was blown out of proportion, you understand? What Wizkid said was contextual. Okay, I'm bigger than him. What do you want to do to me? It was contextual, but everybody got mad. A lot of persons got mad because it was using fella, and of course, somebody brought fella to the scene in the first place, which he shouldn't have done, which is Seun Kuti. I also felt Seun Kuti shouldn't have gone that far, you understand, blasting Wizkid, because when you feel you are blasting Wiz, you are not actually blasting FC. You are actually blasting Wizkid. You understand? Because whatsoever you were doing to FC was actually affecting Wizkid himself. There was a time where, Wizkid recently beat a record where he got 10 billion streams, you understand, on Spotify. I don't know if it was Africa, it was for Africa, it was for Nigeria, but he got 10 billion streams. First person to do it. And you could see Seun Kuti mocking it. So you cannot be mocking those things and say you are blasting FC. No, you're actually coming for Wiz, you understand, in ways that, of course, he did not do anything to you. So like I said, this gathered so much attention that a lot of persons reacted different way. But first of all, let's start with what Yemoli said. Great guy. And Yemoli came out and he was like, "Na Seun Kuti I blame. This fraction of FC you are cursing out don't know anything about fella. They have no single memory of him. Wiz is their goat. They can go memory lane with him from Holla at Your Boy till date. Even some of us na fella shrine make us even know things about fella except you study history. Not be say we sabi anything when he dey. Some people don't know past one fella song, Water Not Get Enemy. Same people can sing 200 of Wizkid songs start to finish. These current internet warriors not get single respect for anybody, papa. Now you cause this embarrassment for the Kuti family. What are you putting on ring light for 5 days in a row addressing people you don't even know? Innocent wife sef collect inside. Nigerians know fella shouldn't be disrespected. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I'm ever seen anything disrespectful about fella courtesy you. Go carry sacks, Egbon, leave FC. Not be only you be fella pikin. Then he went on to say, fella died 29 years ago, who then born that same year sef would be 30 next year. But you are fighting teenagers and Gen Zs that know absolutely nothing about him. Make it make sense. So that was what Yemoli had to say about this whole fella thing. You understand? And still on the people's reaction, in fact, we had a crazy amount of people reacting to this. So still on the people reaction, I'm going to be talking about Very Dark Man's reaction very soon. And there is a reason why I'm going that route. But first of all, Seun Kuti replied what Wizkid said, and he was angry. He was angry for the fact that Wizkid brought in his wife, to the issue. And he was like, real men don't bring in wife and children to banter.
Shame on you stupid motherfuckers for bringing my daughter into this. Shame on your master for bringing my wife into this. Shame. Where that means people, I want to say, I swear, you not get level. The more I think about it, you have no level. Because if you get level, you go feel show some things. My wife, you want to take the insult me. Lies everywhere. Say me, I'll be hungry, man. You cannot tell me how to feel about my dad. You don't have that power. Not do it, go let anybody insult fella. I can never disgrace my father. Say fella go day alive. Somebody go post, say, Wizkid is greater than fella. Fella go do like say, no see him. You don't know my papa be. So if my father is not here to defend himself, make her quiet. Because Wizkid be who? Because when I be waiting. Make her not do waiting, go let them. I can't make anybody do anything, freeze. When people do things, it's because they want to do it. That's psychology 101. When you blame someone else for your actions, it's because you are denying accountability. You don't want to accept what you have done. Now he make me do and fuck you. That's a lie. You did it because you want to do it. Wizkid, your real dream. I know. See, I know that's why I did this. So you can be exposed. Your ambition is to replace fella in us. That fella still get mouth past you, invest you. All that your tattoo coming to shine is an infiltrator, childish method of coming inside. So you can start to destroy us from within, to be destroying it from inside. So we will not say, Wizkid, he like fella, he put tattoo. But your fans cannot be insulting fella. Wizkid like fella, he put tattoo. They'll be dragging fella down. We'll not be able to say anything because Wizkid like fella, he got tattoo. They'll be dragging everything fella is down. Be tearing down our legacy small by small by small until the whole thing just blow at once.
But of course, why you call it banter, you were just bantering. You were taking food out of somebody else's table. You understand? So I don't think Wizkid actually interpreted it as banter. And you cannot be fighting somebody and at the same time be telling the person, don't blow me in my stomach or don't blow me in my eyes, because real men don't do that. You understand? You cannot be telling the person you came for him unprovoked. So whatsoever happened after that, you don't have the right to control it. Then being angry, he also said that whatsoever Wizkid has in his hand, like the picture of fella, Wizkid should clean it. You understand that he's not worthy to have fella in his hand anymore. You understand that Wizkid should clean everything out of his hand. So that was what happened basically. But there was one particular interview I did not talk about, right, where Seun Kuti was saying he has to do more PR, you understand, in the industry. So this is the interview.
Did you have to do anything PR to push your voice further?
No, I'm learning the PR game. You know, this new age is 2% talent, 5% hard work, 93% PR.
Is that not sad?
It's not sad though, you just need to learn it. Me, I like to learn, so I'm learning, I'm getting better.
Tell me, what have you learned?
Go and learn your own. Look at this, what do you mean, what have I learned?
I'm serious, I really...
No, go and learn your own.
I'm not trying to learn what you've learned. I'm curious to know what you've learned.
I've learned that it is this you hear me, I say it is 2% talent, 5% hard work, 93% PR.
So you can see that interview right now. Was it that Seun Kuti was actually trying to use Wizkid's name for PR, but he took it too far and then it backfired? Can we see it on that light also? Anyway, we had VDM. VDM was one of the persons that reacted, and this was what VDM had to say.
Nigeria is the only country in the world that don't have music legends. Nigeria is the only country in the world. America, they have their Dr. Dre. You know, when it comes to dancehall, Jamaica, they have their Benny Man. You know, different genre. Reggae, you see Bob Marley, you see Lucky Dube. You know, Nigeria is the only country that don't have music legends. You know why? Because this place, they don't call them music legends. They call them past glory. And for this reason, they have constantly disrespected people that we should idolize, people that we should respect. Person like LD the Don, no go fit talk for any matter of this country because they go call them past glory. If African China talk, they go call them past glory. If Plantation Boys talk, if P-Square talk, if Remedies talk, if Tony Tetwila, call them. That's man Olofin, call them nice. Vector the Viper, Sasha P, Asha, Wed MC, P-Square. If these people talk, they call them past glory, Two-Face Idibia. Face alone, Blackface, the Plantation Boys. You call them past glory. And you people have constantly disrespected people that you idolize. Now, why am I talking about this? This issue going on between Wizkid and the Kuti family. Because of this reason, a lot of you have gone out of your way to disrespect Fela Kuti. And it's not fair. It's not fair. Now I'm going to talk about Wizkid. I don't have a problem with Wizkid and Seun Kuti doing their thing. Personally, I feel like Wizkid would have just knocked Seun Kuti like this. If Wizkid had come out to say, well, first of all, I have a tattoo of Fela on me. Fela is somebody that I respect. If you go down to history, somebody I love and I respect. I will not let anybody disrespect Fela. But again, you Seun Kuti, are you bigger than me? That one said for big, very good bands. But this thing when you post as Big Bad Kuti, I am Big Wiz, every day bigger than your papa. What do you want to do fool? This small thing where you post, you can't make the whole Twitter children start to bash Fela name, they short Fela. Now the one where even bust my head, I say this tweet. After Wizkid, Fela is the greatest Afrobeat artist. Fela no get Grammy. Got this dummy. Now let's talk about Wizkid Grammy. This is Wizkid's Grammy. Wizkid, Best Music Video, 2020, Brown Skin Girl with Beyonce and Blue Ivy. Best Music Video, not even for vocal. Best Music Video. Is Wizkid a model? Is Wizkid a model? I've been Natiji Omori or Director Pink. Is Wizkid a model? Best, not for vocal, not for his music as a, not for him as a best music video. Now that Grammy they use the talk. Grammy when a Beyonce influence bring down. Grammy where share, they say Beyonce take. Blue Ivy share with Beyonce picking. Where they say, okay, Blue Ivy take. Now you want to take disrespect Fela name? This same Grammy? Now the Beyonce where they use her influence, they give Wizkid Grammy. Now let's come to Beyonce as a person. Listen to this. What is the title? Beyonce pays tribute to late Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti at Coachella. Now Zombie they play like zombie, oh zombie. That was Zombie Fela. Now let's see the person where her influence give Wizkid Grammy. Let's watch. You see, Beyonce honors Fela. Now let's read. Beyonce talks Fela Kuti in recent Billboard interview. I recorded more than 60 songs. Everything I ever wanted to try, I just did. I started off being inspired by Fela Kuti. I actually worked with the band from Fela for a couple of days just to get the feel for the soul and heart of his music. It's so sexy and has a great groove. You get lost in it. You get lost in. I love these drums, all the horns, how everything was on the one. How everything was on the one. When I learned most from Fela was, what I learned most from Fela was artistic freedom. He just feel the spirit. He just felt the spirit. This is what Beyonce, the person where give Wizkid, see Fela as a god, as an art. As you can see, Beyonce plays Fela Kuti music at a star-studded baby shower. It's an art. Now you use play. You say Wizkid get Grammy. Take a good look at the Grammy again, where they take one disrespect Fela. As if we are the craze for this country. best music video with Small Pikin, Blue Ivy, and a Mama influence. And let's come to Fela. That same thing where Beyonce played for stage, Zombie, yo, Zombie. As you can see, it was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2025 Grammy. Wizkid music, none of his music till he dies will be inducted in the Hall of Fame. I tell you that for free. Listen to his music. Not be all those she tell me say. Are you people mad? You use Fela's name to do this. She tell me say. His biggest song is Essence. If they were ever induct Essence in the Hall of Fame, they will induct him with Thames, not only him. Now look at it. Inducted recording album, Zombie. Artist, songwriter, producer, Fela. Everything was Fela. No credit went to anybody. Everything was Fela. Fela is an art. You don't see where they do Fela. Fela for stage. I don't watch Fela. I don't fool my brain. What do you say? If one sound no click, you go to repeat. Because of Wizkid, people disrespect Fela. Are you mad?
That was a lot from VDM, you know, because you could see that VDM really battered Wiz, you understand? VDM did not let any sleeping dog lie still, or whatever the adage is. He battered Wiz. But according to Rattel, one thing they noticed VDM did not say anything about Seun Kuti, right? And that was also my observation, right? VDM said nothing about Seun Kuti. And remind you, VDM is friends with Seun Kuti. So does that mean that because he's friends with Seun Kuti, he actually did not say anything about Seun Kuti for that reason? Anyway, a lot of Rattels reacted to this, and I can tell you, I've never seen a lot of Rattels more angry at their president, you understand, than this time. Thousands of videos were popping out on the internet. But one I was going to pick to talk about was this particular one, which is Toby. The Toby one, right? Toby talked about VDM, and if you know Toby, or Tobe, like his name, great guy, I watch this guy a lot, right? If you know Tobe, you know this guy talks about VDM, talks about Rattel. This guy is one of the strongest Rattel member, you know, if there's something like that. But when VDM did this video, he did not totally agree with what VDM said, and he decided to talk about it. And this was what he said.
President, VDM, very dark man. You see this Wizkid and Fela matter where you pull mat so. I not like him. You supposed not just even talk for the matter at all. Because what you talk for this Fela and Wizkid matter so, I not support him at all. So now let's go straight into it. Let's analyze your situation. Now, VDM, you said in your video that if to say Wizkid reply Seun Kuti like this, say, I know I have Fela on my body, but are you bigger than me? That one, fight just start like that. This whole thing could be avoided. Why? Now, see that time where Fela, the person will come. This is a random follower. He's a random fan of SC that said it. The person comes and say, Wizkid big pass Fela. Not be Wizkid family member talk him. The person is not related to Wizkid. All of us they see for the full online. Say Wizkid idolize Fela. Wizkid love Fela. Wizkid speak good about Fela. Wizkid has a tattoo of Fela on his body. Wizkid has Fela's name on his Snapchat. Wizkid they praise Fela. Wizkid has never come one day by himself to say, I big pass Fela. Now, when that FC begin, they drag that thing with Fela Pikin. What is Seun Kuti supposed to do? He go fit test Wizkid, say, Wizkid, I beg you, address your fans. They are disrespecting my dad. And we know that you love my dad and you respect him so much. We know Wizkid not the quick talk. But it's that kind of message. We touch Wizkid heart. Because why? It concerns Fela, somebody he idolized. Wizkid can come out and say, my people, Mona, calm down. No. Matter go calm. But no. He took it upon himself. 6 days, dragging FC. Wizkid says and say they go back and forth with FC. Wizkid did not put his mouth. He still keep quiet. Because why? Everybody do your thing. Everybody live your life. Then you come in to say, and you, very dark man, you are Seun Kuti's friend. Did you for one day call Seun Kuti say, Alpha, leave all these children alone. All these children be Jay-Z. They don't really know who Fela be. They will talk anyhow they want to talk. Just leave them. Did you do it? No. But this guy constantly drag FC. Wizkid did not still put his man. But involving Wizkid saying, telling them that Wizkid does not care about you. Wizkid does not give a fuck about you. When I just say, mumu, I say this. Wizkid come put him out when I say do bad to protect the people. Anybody who against Wizkid, that means if you are not supposed to have fans. You know why? You cannot protect your fans. Because you cannot push a child. You cannot slap a child, beat a child and tell the child not to cry. You drag Wizkid constantly, telling him that you cannot, Messiah no fit come talk, Oga no fit come talk, you no fit talk anything. Wizkid talk now, and I just say, Wizkid talk, they wrong. Because say Wizkid not be Benin boy, when he go swear or go give the full Fela family. You know, say now some people that say, God punish Fela and the full family. But were you aware that Seun Kuti's sister insulted Wizkid's mom and Wizkid's dad? Did Wizkid come out to say, when I say sister, they insult my mama and papa? No, because within a banter, it is a beef. You can't tell people how to insult in a beef. At all, it is not right. You know fit me and you know fit they get beef. You tell me say like this you take cost me, or like this you take cost me. You come like say me and you dey fight, you go blow my eye. You tell me say make I not blow your neck, make I blow your belly. Now lie. Now, lie. Wizkid did not start this thing at the initial stage. Wizkid glorifies Fela with his full body and soul. All of us know that. But we want to say the judge matter. Be like say, now Wizkid just come online, just come to say, I'm bigger than Fela, the whole material bust. No, it was never like that. Fans are allowed. These fans of nowadays, they are Gen Zs. Anybody can come online to say rubbish. So now, one time, I say, if Bratel fans come now, come to say, VDM is bigger than this person, then VDM don't do wrong. VDM, I'm asking. It doesn't mean that you have done wrong. Now your fan talk and it doesn't concern you. You have nothing to do with it. Then why is everybody putting it on Wizkid? Because Wizkid to talk with him in day, man. Wizkid is an regular boy. Wizkid come from this is Oju Elegba. Wizkid not be a Yankee picking. Because when they see tattoo for everybody, they hear Seun. If they do interview, they speak, and you get me, man, shit, man. Because they don't use phonetics, features they use and they play any play. No see finish of Wizkid will be allowed. You ask for it. You ask for a reply from Wizkid, and Wizkid gave you a reply. Then which make you the verse for the kind of reply where Wizkid give? Don't be angry. More than no verse Wizkid give that kind of reply. He asked for it. He was looking for it. He was looking for the attention. Wizkid attention. What made Wizkid put mouth? And Wizkid put his mouth. Case closed. More than no versing for this internet. It don't make sense. VDM, I trust you. I love you. You are my president from now and forever. I'm still a Ratel member. I love Ratel. I love your movement. But this matter, you for not put mouth. Your judgment on this matter does not count for me. Because this is your first video that you posted that did not watch to the end. I just remove him because it was provoking me. Wizkid not do anything. Nothing. Because if not me, I go so good for your full family. You crazy. I go so good for everybody family. Not why me. Make nobody do nonsense for this internet. Leave Wizkid fucking alone. More than leave the bomb anybody enjoy your life. Wizkid, send me something.
So of course, when he said that, guys, something crazy happened. A lot of Ratels went down there, to start reporting to base page, his Instagram page. And in fact, that day he was crying out multiple times that they were reporting it. Instagram was taking it down. And that was the reason why I brought this IFAT, even VDM's response, because I don't think VDM told any fan to go and report to base page. But like I said, there are always overzealous fans that takes it to the next level. If you talk about our president, your page is going down. As I'm here, if I say anything wrong about VDM, I'm sure there are a lot of people that will come out, unlike my page, do this and do that. Crazy stuffs, right? But that is the thing. Did VDM tell them to do that? VDM did not tell them to do that. In fact, this was another video, right, talking about when Toby was reporting his own fans to VDM, telling him that VDM, your fans are taking down my page and whatever. This was the video.
Hello? Hello? My president. I say, because of this Wizkid matter, I can't go against you. I say, I not support the one way you talk. Your people know, they won't keep... Yes, now, they don't report my account 3 times only today. They don't disable my account reach 3 times. True? No, they don't bring her come back again just now. So I don't happy. See, do I don't say happy for Instagram? My Instagram will refuse to be their work herself. Eh? I don't even see the page. I mean, they also suspend your page again. See, it will be the read to obey official. I beg your people, may they leave me. The page will come back now. Hey, VDM. Let me say the launch about that page. I know the same. Hey, Jesus, VDM. The third arm of the government. Send me the link first. Send me your link. I didn't see the page, honestly. Oh my, hey, man, send you the link like this. Hey, God. Hey, VDM. Now you go on shadow ban now because now people don't do me this one. Which kind of wahala be this? I will send that. When I do Wizkid fan. No, I not be funny enough. I be all of them. Now you say what I just they stand for. See, let me tell you.
So you can see what's happening. VDM was even surprised, like, wow, I can't even find your page. You understand? VDM did not tell his fans to report the page, but his fans reported the page. Now, that should tell you that fans, you can't control all your fans. There are some overzealous fans, right? In fact, when Wizkid talked about, okay, everybody's greater than me, no problem, can we all sleep? There were fans that attacked Wizkid. The fans that attacked Wizkid say Wizkid should not repeat that word in his life again, that he's the greatest and so shall he be. You get? So there are a lot of overzealous fans, you understand, that does what you did not tell them to do. You can't actually control your fans. You understand? What they want to do, because of the love they have for you, what they want to do, they will do it. So that brings my point to, can you now start bashing, should we start bashing VDM, you understand, because of what his fans, what his overzealous fans did? No, VDM did not do it. His fans did it. VDM just came out to say his opinion. Tobe came out to counter what he said, his opinion also. VDM did not tell anybody to block anybody's page. But you see what I'm saying now? So you can't be bashing Wizkid and bashing Wizkid because of what his fans did. You understand? Wanting to take food from Wizkid's table because of what his fans did. So you understand what I'm saying right now? In fact, before we continue this video, you are just going to drop on the comment section, do you think what VDM said was right, and why do you think it's right, and why do you think it's also wrong? Then a lot of other persons, in fact, Peter for Nigeria and somebody else, this guy, that was actually the first time I was seeing his page on Instagram, right? This guy said a whole lot of stuff. I would want you guys to see Peter for Nigeria also, and some other few videos.
My country people, fellow Nigerians. So instead of all of us as Nigerians to come together to fight against bad governments, to fight against corruption and criminality in government, where Fela fights for, where the poor man fights for till he die, instead of us to fight to see that better country, now to fight ourselves, now it don't reach. So for Nigeria today, everybody suddenly they honor and respect Fela apart from Wizkid. So now Wizkid know they respect and honor Fela. Una sure say una the top through Nigerians make una fear God. So which of Fela legacy in son brother Seun Kuti the fight to protect? Is brother Seun Kuti fighting to protect the father legacy, or not to use the father name to fight your personal enemies? Because Fela legacy is big and we're not supposed to belittle and to come to social media tantrums to fight people where you disagree with in the name of fighting for father legacy. What legacy exactly? Because the question what we're supposed to ask, they never answer them. Waiting be the offense of Wizkid against Seun Kuti. Not the only Seun Kuti Fela born now. We know the statements from people like Uncle Femi Kuti and Yemi, where he go talk say Wizkid is like family. He go come celebrate, he go support us, even unless he's not in the country. So waiting gang be the issue where Seun Kuti gets against Wizkid, where the pepper in body, he never talk him. Nigerians, one thing we go destroy Nigeria before corruption is hypocrisy. We are too hypocritical as a people and it is not good. Whether you like people or not, stand for what is true. The truth now go set us free. So as it be for country today, so all people where they post videos of Fela, we stand with you, we stand with you. So you believe for your mind, say now Wizkid now know they respect Fela or they disrespect Fela. Fela is an icon of good governance. The legend where Fela be was not just because he was an artist, but Fela was one of the greatest activists to live in Nigeria. His legendary does not only come from his sound or his melody or his rhythm, but the power in his words, the quality of the thoughts he communicated. Fela stood against criminality and bad government in the face of unprecedented resistance. He lived for it and he died for it. When are we going to fight as a people to see say those things where Fela talk about, it come to fulfillment in our lifetime instead of all of this talk? Is there anywhere in Nigeria, any video or at any time where Wizkid don't come out to talk down on Fela or to belittle his achievements? If not for this recent incident where somebody come out constantly they disrespect him, trying to pull down everything that he has worked so hard to build. So it is okay for us to honor our heroes past, but our heroes present we can disrespect them. Baba now. The same way where Fela is an icon to his children. Seun Kuti no say Wizkid self get children. Wizkid self get fan base. Different icons can coexist. There were icons of the 70s, of the 60s, of the 90s. The same way where Fela was an icon to people like my father, there are current people where the people they see are people like Wizkid, Davido, Burna Boy. So why should somebody constantly come and denigrate another person? And you see nothing wrong with it. But when the person is provoked to respond, it becomes a problem. So today, everybody, even on media, on corporate media, they are talking, oh, you cannot compare. You can. No, it is not about the comparison. Waiting make Wizkid to respond to that. For 6 days, somebody go there on social media abusing the person, talking down on the person, and then he come put out tweet, and you will know that now out of provocation, he say, okay, I big pass your papa, waiting you go do. And then after those tweets, he even talk, say that, all right, everybody better a big pass Wizkid, make everybody rest. Meaning it was out of a provocation. It is one thing for legends to be able to leave a legacy, to hand over baton to the next generation. It is another thing for that generation to run with it. And you must give credit to people like Wizkid and the rest for keeping that fire alive. If it been that easy like that, even brother Seun Kuti is supposed to be successful now. Or you don't know, say, do you think that Fela's children, Abi Wizkid children, will hold your own father in higher esteem than their father? father, as your father they special to you as brother Seun, that is how Wizkid is to his own children and to his fans. We must respect and bless the memory of our heroes past and even our heroes present. What exactly is the fight? That is why my message today is both to Brother Seun, to Nigerians, and even to the Fela family. We can do better to honor the memory of our great legend. You can be Fela's biological son, but the persons where go find expression in his talent may not be his biological children. And if you see expression of something where there for another person or a talent that honors and is still linked to the memory of your late father, it should be a blessing, not be something where we're supposed to be fight. It is something you should be happy about. Why are we comparing children and father? Why are we not comparing children and children, then father to father? And what is the basis of this kind of vain comparison instead of working together? Everywhere where Wizkid literally has a tattoo of a man on his body, how can you make a video to say that if you not go clean that tattoo, you not go use that hand to do whatever way you they talk? So as what? Are you your father's father or your father's son? Because even your father, when he died alive, will not talk to his own fans like that. Why exactly do we think that we should fight? Now only witchcraft now they lead to this kind of thing, instead of working together to bring out a vision that a man fought and died for. As I did today, I would have wanted a situation where 27 years after Fela death, we should have a Fela Memorial Annual Lecture, a day where we can even, we supposed to don't get a Fela Anikulapo Kuti Institute of Public Accountability, where we continue to raise young leaders who will fight for this country to see good leadership. The same thing with people like MK Abiola family, where we can have MK Abiola Center for Electoral Reform, because now the thing where Kukuma killed the man at the end. But in this case, no be so. You will just continue to see unnecessary infighting here and there. What exactly is the problem? Waiting gone the bite person for body. As it is today, me I go even expect, let Fela's children make contest, go to the Senate, enter government. If I get opportunity to become a lawmaker, whether I go Senate, there will be a Fela Anikulapo Kuti bill on public accountability, on holding public office holders accountable. A man will sing, they say na 1990, then go give us water from United Nations special program for third world countries. I don't die, yo, give me water, drink. More than 30 years later, more than 50 million Nigerians do not still have access to clean water. Fela sing say every day my people dey inside bus 49 sitting 99 standing, them they pack themselves in like sardine. Till today it still dey happen for BRT for Lagos. What a man, what a man. Police brutality where we dey protest against today, Fela talk about them how many years ago. Them go for road, army go whip. Them go for road, police go slap. Them go reach walk where he ready. Them go reach bed power no day. Every day na the same thing. Every day na the same. Ha! Instead of us to work together to see the fulfillment of a vision like this, now to fight ourselves. What a shame. What a tragedy of a country. Every day for social media. Who swear for Nigerians like this? Fela's vision does not end in celebration. It does not end in the shrine. Shrine did there when he was alive. What have we done after his passing? What have we done to immortalize his memory? As a man who stood, he goes, they set up inquiry. Inquiry come close. Oh, he no finish. Everyone cover well of Fela go hold government for neck. He go choke them. He no let them go. He dey press and steady. Let us work to see that vision come to pass, my fellow country people. Let us unite. Every generation gets their own heroes. The same way when we dey honor heroes past, we should honor heroes present. We cannot sit down and see the ridiculing of another person because we want to immortalize or honor another person. We can give respect to everybody. What is there? The same way when Fela doing own, Wizkid they doing own now. So it is okay for the son of Fela to disrespect Wizkid, and it is not okay for Wizkid to react. He's a human being. I take God beg you now. I take God beg you, whether Uncle Brother Seun or Fela's family or Wizkid, all of our Afrobeat artists today, they kidnap children. The criminals where Fela sing against, where he say no one. Now criminals they in government today. Imagine if Fela was alive, what will he do? That is the question we should be asking. Let us fight to get a better country. Let us leave this personal fights and exchange every day. Wizkid is not your problem. Anything where you see say an expression, embrace it. It is a blessing to your family. Stop fighting what you do not understand. Everybody must not make them the same. Some people papa go blow, children no go blow. Some children go blow, papa go be nobody. Now God they pick people where he won't use, and if they use them, cheer them up and support them. All of us will be better now. May the memories of the late legendary Fela Anikulapo Kuti continue to be a blessing and inspire all of us to work together for a better country. May God bless our heroes past and even our heroes present. All the young people where they try to make an impact, may God bless una. Let love live. Brother Seun Kuti, if they tell you or you hear say Fela, there is a newborn Fela in anybody, whether Wizkid or anybody, it is not a bad thing, it is a blessing. It means your father is a standard, and other people, whether they are related to you by blood or not, can ride on the wings of the legacies that your father have lived. Let love lead, and let Nigeria be at the heart of all our actions. God bless Fela Anikulapo Kuti and his memories. God bless Wizkid, and may God bless Nigeria. My name is Peter for Nigeria.
Oh, well, my dear. You must have seen this whole ranting and battle online about Fela Anikulapo Kuti and Wizkid FC. Or, if we want to be accurate, we rather say the whole back and forth between Seun Kuti and Wizkid. Now, you see that I draw two variances because if we are not careful, we will be missing the point. The first questions, I've read so many, thoughts, I've listened to so many, speakers react to this thing. But you see, I realize that if we are not careful, right, we will miss the most important part. Who they fight who? That's the first thing we would first ask ourselves. The first question we should ask ourselves is, how come we are having a debate of Fela Anikulapo Kuti and Wizkid? How? What is the I don't understand. So I think it is appropriate for us to be careful enough to say that we are having this discourse between Seun Kuti and Wizkid, because that is the one that makes sense. Fela Anikulapo Kuti, legend, a man who came, saw and conquered, a man who did not only draw a niche for himself, he creates a standard and establish a legacy. God rest his soul. Fela Anikulapo Kuti is undoubtedly a man who actually make a mark. And then Wizkid, later on, I don't even think Wizkid was born when Fela was a teen. So I don't understand where the comparison is coming from. But where did this matter started from? Because you see, it will be important for us to go to the root. In an interview with Olamide Badu, please understand, Olamide Badu, not Wizkid. In an interview with Olamide, he was asked who is the greatest Afrobeat artist. He said, after Fela, underline the word after, it is Wizkid, no doubt. And the whole crowd cheers here. And that didn't go well with Seun Anikulapo Kuti, who is Fela's son. Do you know I've taken over a day to ponder over this matter so that I don't go hard? I don't it's really deep. If we start to dig deep in this matter, head go roll low. So Seun in an interview respond, I think he made a video that they should stop comparing his dad with anybody. How will you be comparing Wizkid to my dad and all of those things? As far as he's concerned, he find that to be insulting to the legacy of his father. I understand what he was explaining, but I disagree with him because you see, it depends on which context you are seeing it. Maybe English language is a problem. If they say after your father is somebody, that means your father is his standard. Your father is up there. And then we can now start stating who is the greatest now. Like your father is not even in the category of the nomination. Your father is like there. And then we are now saying the greatest now. So your father is like Mecca to Muslim. You don't understand. He's far gone. It is an honor to you that they are even referencing your father after 26 years of passing. 26 years of passing. And they are saying they are still rating him over people who are living. And then you have a problem with that. I'm going to refer to a Yoruba proverb. Yoruba says, Ile to banturo, omo alebe ni otita. But the first question you should ask yourself is Seun Kuti the only son of Fela? Matter of fact, Fela has tons of children that even he himself, while he was alive, do not even have an account of them. And he has a couple of his children who has taken this part of music. Ask yourself a question. Why is Seun? Because it's not the first time of him coming for Wizkid. Why is Seun angry? Because you see, this debate should have been, honestly, that who is better between Seun Kuti and Wizkid. Because those are the people in the same league. It will have made sense. You don't understand. This debate will have made sense. We are comparing Seun Kuti with Wizkid. But guess what? The legendary Fela Anikulapo Kuti did his thing, pass on. It would have been understandable if his son is part of top 3 of Afrobeat today. But clearly it's not. I'm sorry. Since these guys decide to roll in the more women, this English I'm speaking don't mean. But I've listened to Seun play music I swear in God's name, I don't know any of his album. I don't know any of his track. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I've seen him play and play his sax. Sax, it's not like you are still alive. BJ Sax is making more money with playing saxophone than Seun Kuti now. What are we talking about? We can count them. It is almost logical to understand where the anger is from, because if they are talking of greatest artists of now, Anikulapo Kuti's son is there, and I'm calling somebody else. So I almost understand. Now, Wizkid, see the power, see influence. Oh yeah, let's find out who is the greatest, even from this your battle. For 7 days, sir, you have been ranting online, doing shows every day, attacking Wizkid fans. Unprovoked. Wizkid did not talk to you. Wizkid did not fight you. According to your brother, this Wizkid is a family friend. Though. Your brother, which I'm going to attach to this video, your brother said that Wizkid has always supported everything that you people do. That's your brother. Listen to this. No.
Concerning celebration as well, I mean, he supports celebration with his heart, everything. I mean, doesn't even charge us money. Wizkid is like family. So, I mean, except he's not in the country, he will honor celebration. Just a phone call, I will come, no matter what. He's a very nice person. I mean, when I see some people commenting on Twitter, they don't know Wizkid. But the Wizkid I know is very humble. He really appreciates his family. He appreciates the life he has.
That's your brother. That's Femi Anikulapo Kuti speaking about how much Wizkid has identified with the Kuti's family, how he has been supporting, how he show up for every celebration, and all of that. This same Wizkid, who adore your father enough to have his face tattoo in his body. This same Wizkid who has been one of the people that is making this generation to even know who Fela is, that keeps the name ringing in the mind. Whoever is your Igbo plug, changing because things is going bad for you. They are calling Wizkid newborn Fela and you are angry. Why? You should thank Wizkid for keeping your father's legacy. You should actually be grateful to God for Wizkid. Because clearly, Wizkid is doing what you can't do. Wizkid is doing what none of your family is doing. Wizkid is helping your ignorant ass to keep the name and the legacy of Fela Anikulapo Kuti. They say somebody is newborn Fela. For somebody to be a newborn Fela, that means there has been Fela. I'm trying to not join you to rubbish the legacy of Fela Anikulapo Kuti. But since you want to rubbish somebody's career, let's go there a little bit. I will hold back a little bit until if I see any reaction that provoke me. Because I've did some little research. If you want to compare Wizkid and Fela, it depends on what parameter we are comparing them. Are we comparing Wizkid and Fela, who is the greatest, based on music or something else? If it is music, then we can run the comparison. Again, it will be unfair to even run the comparison because if we go by numbers, Wizkid is far greater than Fela. No questions asked. Forget it. But that would be unfair because the time, that's what I'm saying. You can't compare Wizkid and Fela. It doesn't make sense. Time and chance is the difference between Wizkid and Fela. Time and chance. They are not in the same generation. They didn't happen in the same season. So why should we compare them? Somebody who make a world record where there was no Instagram, no DSTV, nothing, you should give it to him. The guy, the man a baba, the man a legend. So it will be logical to be comparing him with Wizkid. But if having said that, it's not the reason to rubbish the accomplishment of Wizkid. In his own right, he's a legend. The guy has broken barriers. For somebody, you that were born inside music, you've been in the corridor of music. Your father was teaching you piano, teaching you saxophone. You have the cushion, the background, the lift to become the best artist in this Africa by nomenclature, by the standard of birth. And why you are alive in your lifetime. One boy, Ibrahim, from the slum of Uju Elegba, rose up to the pinnacle of his career, rose up to the strata of accomplishment in music, and broke barriers in his time. Fela is great, Wizkid is great. The difference between both of them, time. That is why you cannot be running the comparison. No, it doesn't make sense. But like I said again, On what parameter? Are we comparing Fela to Wizkid in terms of music? Then it will be fair for me to say that Fela is great and Wizkid is great. It is stupidity for you to compare them. Don't overemphasize Fela's greatness by watering down Wizkid. This is the problem with Africa. We have this either or, this black and white mentality. Why can't Fela be great and Wizkid be great? Why can't both of them be great? Why do we have to? It doesn't even make any sense. They are not on the. You only compare things that are in the same standard to say which one is better. Compare Wizkid with Davido. Compare Wizkid with Burna Boy. Compare Wizkid with anybody. Compare with no, don't do that. That's not fair. You can't compare Wizkid with Seun Kuti. Sorry. Compare him with anybody in his time. It makes sense. You can't compare Wizkid with Fela. Now, so if we are going by music, they are both great. That's the answer. Period. But you see, the problem is that when I've been hearing the argument, everybody will have been saying, Wizkid is rude. This one, they want to explain the greatness of Fela when we talk about Fela. The problem I have with all of you is that you are mentioning the greatness of Fela. You are not talking about musical accomplishments. You are talking about he fought for the freedom of this. He fought for the freedom of. This is where 31st shirts thing. Fela is many things in his lifetime. So if you want to talk about it, sing music to tackle the system, he question the authority, it will be fair. You will have to get the balance for you to equally mention that as much as is somebody who speak up for the common man, is also one of the roots and father of social menace in Nigeria. Don't hide from that reality. Fela is the first person that we have to dance naked on stage and literally hump on women on the stage while performing. The madness today. Igbo becomes like paracetamol today. One of the people, in fact, when you say Igbo, close your eyes to picture Igbo, the image that comes to your head is Fela. That's what we call social malay. So as much as you want to tell us that he fought for people, he equally is part of the decadence of the society that the youths are thriving on today. Every person they hold with like this, the person that comes to their head is Fela. Fela married 23 wives in one day. Fela, after decades that he has passed, in an interview with Femi Kuti, was saying that after their father passed, they did DNA test and 56 out of the children are not even his. Gather bastard left and right. Who knows whether Seun is one of them? Because to this thing you are doing, claiming that you are defending your father's legacy, no, you want to rubbish. You are packing your father's legacy and putting it inside Sansan for no reason. You want water down the legacy of your father because you see, like I said, I will hold back in some faces until I see any reaction that will trigger me, so that we can go. Because you see, everybody saying Fela is a legend. Fela is a legend. I'm not disagreeing with that, but please, can we go into specific? What is legendary about him? What did he actually do? He sing about freedom and the corruption of the system. It's not the only one. People like Victor Wafo, Ike Dairo, many. Do you know that people like King Sunny Ade have more musical impact and influence than Fela Nicola Kuti? Are you people aware of that? Do your research. What are we talking about? Because you see, we are getting carried away by his legend. We respect him. We adore him in his lifetime. People love him because of his not for his genre of music, because he was speaking against the system. With some of them, if you go into history, let's go into specific stories where you take cognizance. Some of them are actually hooliganism. And that's the fact. That is the freaking fact. Fela fought for his own freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Fela spoke for, he fight for freedom. You people are talking about Fela like you are talking about Nelson Mandela, like you are talking about Martin Luther King. Where is the freedom today? People like Martin Luther King, they stood up and they fought and they got it. This freedom that you see we are saying Fela from, where is the freedom? Where is it at? Like I said, I will not want to go there yet. You people provoke me because we are scholars. Some of us are not Gen Zs. We met Fela alive. See, you understand? We study history. We can tell some things. Again, let me close by addressing this unpronounced war between the millennial and the Gen Z. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't understand why the old folks are just hating on the young ones who are supposed to be their future. It's madness. Nothing but straight up madness. Straight up madness. Because that's the only reason why you people always say, because they don't do things your own way. Who says your way is right? Their ways might not align with yours. Who says your way is right? Can you let this young generation live their own life and make their own mistakes for God's sake? Lastly, Seun Kuti, we are supposed to be having this debate about who is great between you and Wizkid, not your dad. So what happened to your own career? I don't know any of your song. I've seen you play sax. It's bad. You are literally existing today on the wings of the legacy of your father. Imagine if Fela Anikulapo Kuti is not who he is. You will be one charlatan on one nuisance smoking weed under one mango tree. But yes, we will not water the legacy of your father down because you were going to choose that Yao Moale. For real. Why we are supposed to be comparing you and Wizkid. No, leave your father alone. We are supposed to be comparing you and Wizkid. Are you not alive? Is this not a shame that we are not even debating with that between Seun Kuti and Wizkid? We are going to Fela that has died 26 years ago. So now, to all of you who are reacting all of a sudden, for 7 days, this nuisance was coming for Wizkid and his fans. Nobody talk anything. You are watching it. Wizkid has not done one show. See greatness, talk go, say power. Wizkid has not done one show. Just tweets. Insta story. Last song. I woke up this morning. Even TV station, some girls just gather themselves. When I start talking trash, everything is bad in Nigeria now. Journalists will just come online and just be talking rubbish. I don't have a problem anybody having a position, but at least do due diligence, do your research. How come you did not see Seun all along? And now you want to talk. But from a positive side, you talk for 7 days. Nobody react to it. They are looking at you. It's just you say you are fighting Wizkid FC. Who is Wizkid FC, Joe? Where are they? Where is their headquarters? Where is their head office? Where's their office address? You know they actually don't exist. You are literally fighting people that don't exist. Fan is fan. Fan is not. You make it sound like they have one meeting. Does even Wizkid know his fan? But ọmọ pé àgbà tí ò bá níṣẹ́ ló máa ń mọye nọ́mbà ọkọ̀. Àgbà tí ò níṣẹ́ ní ilé òun náà máa ń fún ní NEPA bill dání. It's because you don't have anything to do with your life. Your career, we can't say your career died because he was never alive. Never alive. We are supposed to be comparing you with Wizkid. You are on the advantage side than Wizkid. What happened to your life? You spoke for 7 days. Internet did nobody see you. Wizkid tweet one day. Everywhere busts. I put it to you. Who is greater between you and Wizkid? No, we cannot. That's an insult. Who is greater between Fela and Wizkid? Because you are proving this thing right. But especially for the fact that he never said so. He never said so. This is the part that pissed me off. They asked Wizkid in an interview, comparing him with Fela, and this is what he has to say.
We can't compare. Let's not use that word because that's like a disrespect when you're like mentioning Wizkid and Fela in the same sentence. It's like you can't compare. That's like someone that inspires me. I have him tatted on me. Like Fela's face is on my body, so. Like, you can't compare, man. He just inspires me, and everything, like, he's done with his music and his legacy, like, inspires me to be great and to want to do more. You can't compare, like.
This boy, when they ask him with his own mouth, he stopped them, say, no compare him, no try him. This is somebody that inspires me, but you want to come for him. I did a little research, Seun Kuti, to just check your stream, and Bolu, you know Bolu? Come, I will tell you, Bolu now, Wizkid's son. Do you know Bolu have more stream than Seun Kuti? Since you want to compare Wizkid, where normally you almost feel born, to your father, we don't die 26 years ago, it's okay to compare you, since the logo, with Bolu, and guess what? Bolu is still having more stream than you. But nigga, get out, man. Get out, man. Like I said, there is still more. There is still more.
I personally am a huge fan of Fela's work, and I'm a huge fan of Wizkid's work. And I think this entire Wizkid, Seun Kuti feud can be broken down into 3 clear issues. And I hope Seun and Wizkid are listening, because honestly, it's disappointing that it's even come to this. First, as a journalist and a lover of African music, it's been a long and difficult journey to global relevance. I'm, like Ikenna said, very deeply disappointed in both of them. What this exchange has done is open up the Fela legacy legacy to unnecessary disrespect when in fact it should be used as a platform for education and historical context. Now, Fela Anikulapo Kuti's name should never be dragged into social media skirmishes or used as a rhetorical weapon in fan wars. If anything, his legacy deserves intellectual seriousness and not emotional defensiveness. There's no serious person alive that believes that Wizkid is greater than Fela in the historical sense, including Wizkid himself. Which brings me to the second point. This false comparison is intellectually lazy. Now, two things can be true at the same time without one cancelling out the other. Just like in football, Pele and Maradona were the greatest of their era, and Messi and Ronaldo are the greatest of theirs. Nobody sensible is arguing that Messi's greatness is going to erase Pele's legacy. They existed in various contexts, they served distinct cultural functions and operated within different global systems. And the same applies here. Fela and Wizkid are not competing in the same historical lane. If we look at Wizkid objectively, the numbers and the facts simply don't lie. He is one of the most commercially successful African artists of all time. He has multiple international hits, he has global collaborations, major awards, enormous streaming numbers, and a truly global fan base. He represents Afrobeats on the world stage in a way that no Nigerian pop artist ever has before. He is, by every measurable modern metric, a global superstar, a global pop star of his era, and more importantly, he has never denied Fela's influence on his life and his artistry. In fact, he has repeatedly acknowledged it. Even Femi Kuti, like Ikena rightfully said, has publicly spoken about Wizkid's respect for Fela's legacy. But then there's the crucial distinction people are refusing to make. Fela is not just a musician. He's a historical figure. He's the founder of Afrobeat as a genre. He is a global cultural icon, studied in universities around the world. He used music as a political resistance against military dictatorships. He shaped African consciousness, activism, identity through sound. He influenced generations of artists, including Wizkid, Burna Boy, David, Rema, mention it. His legacy transcends music into politics, culture, and history itself. So no, Wizkid is not greater than Fela in a historical or cultural sense. But yes, Wizkid is the most globally successful African pop star of his generation. And both these things can coexist without contradiction. And that really is the core issue here. I saw somebody on Instagram that said you can't honor the past without suffocating. Rather, you can honor the past without suffocating the present. Protecting Fela's legacy does not require diminishing Wizkid's achievements. Celebrating Wizkid's success does not require rewriting or disrespecting Fela's historical importance. The problem isn't Wizkid or Fela. The problem is intellectual insecurity and emotional gatekeeping masquerading as cultural protection. This conversation should have been an opportunity to educate people on Fela's true historical weight, while also acknowledging how far African music has come. Instead, it's become a small, unserious feud that helps nobody and cheapens a legacy that deserves far more dignity than this. Seun Kuti, Wizkid, pipe down, eh?
If you want to judge Fela as the musician, remove activism, as a musician he is, Fela is still very great. Still the greatest. If you want to talk about activism, this guy is still the greatest. You understand? So that's why Fela is so special. And I'm going to be making another video talking about Fela, the greatness of Fela basically. So you guys get to know who actually is Fela and how great Fela was. And guys, in this channel, we are going to be talking about different things, making politics video, making entertainment industry video, making videos and giving you complete insight on what you need to know. A lot of research is done in all this. So if you enjoyed this video, of course, if you stay till now, then definitely you enjoyed the video. So kindly hit the subscribe button and like.